chapter 1 knows your deeds. He knows all the good stuff you've done, all the bad stuff that you've done, the deep, dark secrets in Colossians, and I'm sorry, 1 Corinthians chapter 4, that those secrets, the things that we're ashamed to share, Romans chapter 2, God knows those things. This Jesus, the maker and sustainer of all things, knows those things. He knows your deeds. And he says, you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. He says, you know what? You're not hot, you're not cold, you're lukewarm. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we live in a time and a place with many, many lukewarm Christians. Jesus says, I wish you were hot or cold. If you're not going to be boiling hot, if you're not going to be on fire for me, then just be bitter cold. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. And this is not an appropriate term. I think this is undervaluing the statement. This statement literally, you make me want to vomit. Do you understand that when we ride the middle of the road, we make Jesus vomit? If we go to Starbucks, I can order some sort of half-calf mocha latte frappuccino, and I can order that, and they'll say, do you want that hot or cold? And by the way, I'm a hot guy. I like the hot beverages. I like the hot coffee. And every time I do, I burn my tongue or the top of my mouth. And then for like 3 days, it's a blister or something. But so I like it hot. Some people like it cold. But one thing they don't have at Starbucks is a tepid beverage. They don't give you the option of tepid coffee. It's not iced tea or hot tea. Not lukewarm tea. It's not room temperature. And what Jesus is saying, if you're a room temperature Christian, you make me vomit. If you're not going to be boiling hot, if you're not going to have this fervency, if it's not going to boil over, then just be frigid cold. Be like the Antarctica. Don't let polar bears walk in your heart. Do not be room temperature Christians. And he's telling the church at Laodicea, you're room temperature. It's time for you to get on board. Make a choice. Are you hot with me or are you cold for me? Don't ride the middle. There are a lot of people that want to call themselves Christians that put a little fish logo on the back of their car, that have t-shirts that have cute little slogans on it that they wear. Fully a devoted follower of Christ. Yippee. And then they can't get up in the morning. They can't, before they go to bed at night, they can't give time to God's Word. They don't go to God in prayer. They don't share Christ with their neighbors. It's just about something cute and something fun in their room temperature. And what Jesus is saying to the church at Laodicea, no room temperature Christians. Hot or cold. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be a church in the United States today that boils over in our passion and our love for Jesus. And it continues, verse 17, and this makes it worse. You say, I am rich, I have acquired wealth, and do not need a thing. Look at, here we are, look at this, it's a beautiful room. All sorts of great paint job, great thing. If you look throughout the rest of the building, it's a beautiful building. God has blessed us here. And what a great place that this is. What do we need? What do we need? But we say we're rich and acquired wealth. Do you realize that if you own a car, you're one of the 5%, you're the top 5% wealthiest people in all the world? Do you realize you're one of the wealthiest people in the world if you own a car? What do I need? And here's the thing. The church is saying about themselves spiritually, we're rich, we've acquired wealth, we don't need a thing. That was their self-assessment? Their assessment of themselves is, I'm rich, I've acquired wealth, I don't need a thing. But you do not realize, just as Jesus speaking to them, you don't realize you're wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Rich, and not need a thing, or wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. You see, the church at Laodicea's assessment of themselves was radically different than the assessment that Jesus had for them. The question is, in our life today, how is our assessment in compared to Jesus' assessment? And let's break that down even more personally. How is your personal assessment of your life compared with Jesus' assessment of your personal life? My guess is that a lot of us have an assessment of ourselves. And too often, I have been very unbalanced in my assessment of myself. But luckily, we have a God who doesn't just leave us wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. He counsels us. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, so you can become rich, and white clothes to wear, so you can cover your shameful nakedness, and salve to put on your eyes, so you can see. Here's a very important point, that in spite of all our wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and nakedness, we have a God in Jesus who offers us a cure, who offers us a solution to our wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and nakedness. I counsel you to buy gold refined in the fire, so you can become rich.